Welcome back to Paul's Little Forge, everybody. Thought I'd take a minute and introduce you to Josie. Josie is a little Welsh Terrier that's 15 years old. She is completely blind and deaf at this point in her life, but she still knows her way around the house very good, and she's been begging me to put her on camera. So everybody say hello to Josie. This week we're going to do another simple low layer Damascus, just 14 pieces right here. Guys, I know some people are just addicted to how many layers of Damascus can they get into a knife, and that is really cool to do. I'm not one that's really into that. I just like looks, and I'm more of a fan of the low layer stuff. I will be doing some high layer stuff in a video coming up that you guys may like. But for this low layer, we're just going to have some 15N20, 1084, a little bit of nickel, copper, and as I like to do sometimes, as y'all already know when you watch my videos, I like to put a little surprise in there. So we'll see what that surprise is at the end. We're going to use this Thuya burl, very beautiful wood here. Take a look at that, man. That's pretty cool. With the little, I'm gonna use these Gulso bolts to put it on when we get done. So I'm gonna clean these up, surface them a little bit on with some fine grit paper, put them in acetone, clean all the marks off of them, anything oily off of them. We'll weld them up, put them in the forge, and we'll start pressing this thing down. While I've got this soaking in the acetone and cleaning up, let's talk about the different steels here and why it makes Damascus. So guys, Damascus is just different types of steel layered together. Damascus is not a type of steel. It's made up of different types of steel. You can use many different kinds of steel to make Damascus. There's no simple definition. Old school people and new modern knife makers can get in a really big argument over what is really Damascus. We're not going to do that. For this knife, I have 1084 in it, 15N20, nickel, and copper. So what happens is 1084 is a straight carbon steel. Nothing else in it, just carbon and iron, that's it. So when you put it in ferric chloride, which is an acid, it will turn black or very close to black. 15N20 is very similar to 1084 in some ways, only it has nickel added to it. 2% of it is nickel. So nickel does not etch, but when it's mixed with carbon and iron into that steel, it etches a little bit, but not very good. So that's what gives you the contrast is the 1084 turns dark, the 15N20 stays kind of bright, and then I threw some nickel in there so it would be extremely bright, and that's 100% nickel. So it's not gonna etch at all. And then the copper is just gonna give it a little different color in there. So that's what makes Damascus. We're gonna assemble this. In the center is 2 pieces of 1084, and that's gonna be basically my center core. And then I'm gonna have some 15N20 outside of that, another piece of 1084, nickel, copper, nickel, nickel, copper, nickel, surprise, surprise. So we're gonna clamp this. Okay, so we got this billet drawn out. I drew a little knife design on it there. We're gonna cut it out very similar to that. Little bit concerned on this because I got a little bit too thin in a couple of spots, and I had to try to thicken it back up by turning it up vertical and smashing it back down. Not sure if I messed it up or not yet, guys. So we'll see as we go forward. Knife making doesn't always turn out like you hope. So we want to keep it in the oil when we do this till it gets, it don't have to be room temperature, but it needs to get about 120 or so. It's still going to be hot, but you should be able to put your hands on it and not get burnt. It's still a little hot. It ain't too bad. All right, guys, we got this quenched and heat treated. It's not real beautiful right now. You can see the copper in there. The surface still looks pretty rough, so I'm gonna do a little more surface grinding on it, try to make that clean up a little bit, and then we'll re-bevel this and clean all of that up, make it all shiny. Once we get it all nice and shiny, we'll put the handles on, shape those, take those back off, and then we'll take this and etch it in the ferric chloride, and then we'll come back and put the handle back on and be done with it. round these off because once you put this on the knife, you can't really do too much to it then because you'll scratch up the knife blade. So I try to get these rounded off before they ever go on. So I'm putting in the recesses for the Goso bolts. I like to be just a little bit below the wood surface like you see there. And I tell you, this burl drills very, very easily. So be careful going too deep.
Just a little bit more, and I think we are good. Awesome.
All right, we're gonna put this baby into acid, get a little etch on it. All right, we've been in here for about 6 minutes now, so let's pull it out and see how it looks. I think that came out pretty good, guys. What do y'all think? Guys, this one turned out pretty good. There's a few little flaws in it, but for the most part, I like it. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think about it. And as always, I appreciate every one of my subscribers. You guys mean a lot to me. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.